Okay, hopefully, yes, it's recording. Okay, so thank you for coming on tonight. For anyone who's watching on the replay, this is a bit of it was quite a last minute thing. Michelle and I actually only met a little while ago and got together, and we're thinking about starting up some local events where we could both share our knowledge and passion for health and well-being. But with everything that's going on at the moment, we had a conversation only 2 nights ago and said, look, let's just do something online because everybody's stuck at home. We've got this horrible feeling right now of it's such a massive time of uncertainty. It's emotional for everybody. A lot of us have already been socially isolating, me included, for the last week. So we're missing that social contact, which and doing something like this, we just thought actually brings people together. And it helps us focus really on things that we can control rather than the things that are out of our control. Because at the moment, there's so much, popping up on your newsfeed every 2 minutes, and things on social media, and it can get quite panicky. And that's one thing I've been trying to distance myself a little bit and only checking things a couple of times a day and just actually thinking, what can I control? And the things we can control are our mindset, our sleep, how we fuel ourselves, so what we're putting into our bodies. We're all drinking wine this evening, which is good, but that's fine. We need wine right now. We can control, exercise, surrounding ourselves with positive people that are going to uplift us, because we don't want to be constantly feeling negative all the time. And again, this is part of that, and trying to decrease stress. So we're going to cover tonight a few of those things. We're going to cover a little bit about mindset. I mean, that's a massive subject, but we'll just cover a little bit. Michelle's going to go through some exercise. I'm going to talk briefly about fueling your body in the right way and our gut health and how that links to our immune system and stress and depression. And then we're going to finish with doing some breathing. Michelle's going to go through some breathing techniques with us, which will really help reduce that stress. So we're going to cover quite a lot of those things tonight. Firstly, I'm going to introduce myself, and then Michelle will tell you a little bit about herself as well. So my name is Ericka Good. I am a GP in the Hampshire area. Been a GP for a long time, about 12 years. And I'm also mum to 3 children. I've got a 13-year-old, 6-year-old and 2-year-old. So as you can imagine, right now, I'm actually feeling the stress of it a lot. I've already had to take on homeschooling too, with a toddler at home. So it's been a stressful week already, and I'm not knowing how I'm going to cope with the next 6 months, but we'll see. We can get through it. But I've also, alongside being a doctor, I have my own online health and wellness business. And that's how Michelle and I are actually kind of connected. We're connected via Instagram, because we both have a same business. And then we realised we only live 15 minutes down the road from each other, so it would be nice to get together and work out what we can do to help each other and provide something for the local community. So my main passions really are kind of educating people with what I've learned over the last few years, which is more about nutrition, and fueling yourself in the right way, and really about looking after our minds, because a few years ago I was very close to burnout as a doctor, suffered with a lot of anxiety, and actually that's what led me into starting my own online health and wellness business as well, which has then opened me up to teaching me all these techniques that I can really help keep myself positive. I'm going to hand over to Michelle now to tell you a little bit about herself. Oh, need to unmute yourself, Michelle.
Technology, gotta love it, hey? So my name's Michelle, and I am a physiotherapist and a Pilates instructor. I won't sort of go into massive detail about my career and what I've done, but if you are interested, you can go and check it out or have a look through my social media. But I'm a physiotherapist that works mainly now with musculoskeletal injuries, but I really am passionate about the pelvis and pelvic health and moving the body correctly. And that has kind of led me to really, through my own personal development, my own personal journey, but also through like feeling the needs of my clients and what my clients need as well, I'm realizing that so much of our health is interconnected. So our mental state is connected to how well we recover our physical body, and that affects my results as a physiotherapist. If I don't treat people holistically and I don't look at their mental state, their gut health, what they're eating, and what they are physically doing, and their positivity or mindset, it massively changes how our immune system is built, and how therefore our recovery and regeneration system in terms of trying to recover from things. So that's how my career has sort of progressed. And now looking again at looking at the pelvis, I've thought a lot more about your digestion and how, you know, things like toxins and constipation and stuff can affect that. So that's kind of where my career has sort of versatile a lot. But also, I'm a mum, and I am human, and I am living this in absolute real time to you guys as well. So this is me trying to give something back that I can do. And what I can do is share love and share, you know, this sort of empathy for what we're all going through. But also, you know, at the moment, you know, hats off to everybody in the NHS, amazing. I am at the moment at home on my own with my little one. And she's 18 months, and my husband's at sea in the Navy. So, you know, at the moment, I'm not in a position where I can go out there. So this is me trying to see what we can do and what we can do to help everybody. So yeah, I'm a little bit scared, if I'm brutally honest. I think it's okay to admit that. I think we're all a little bit scared, and a little bit stressed. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little bit stressed right now about everything. But I have sort of tried to listen to all these feelings and sort of log on and go, what is it? You know, how am I going to channel this energy into a positive? Okay, because we're all going through it, and we can go one of two ways. We can kind of, you know, channel it into getting us low and down and in this downward spiral, or we can all come together as a community, whether we are self-isolating or not. We can still come online and be a community together and work on things together. So yeah, that's kind of my own personal journey, and it's really weird because I've kind of been going through this journey for a little while now, and it's almost like something was preparing me for something crazy. Like, I don't think anything can prepare you, but I just feel like I've been trying to self-discover, and I think this is now the opening time for me to go, breathe, we need to discover what on earth is going on and what can we do to help. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and my story really. So I'm going to go back to Ericka to talk to us a little bit more about mindset and how mindset we can adjust.
I think, yeah, we're all feeling it right now, and I like to think of myself as generally a pretty positive person, but the last few days have got to me, and I've had I've shed quite a few tears the last couple of days, to be honest, which I think we all have, and it's going to hit us all at different times. So yeah, I just want to talk briefly about a few coping mechanisms that we can be using. So when we're talking about mindset, what we want to be focusing on is a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset would be, when we say, oh my God, this is all so awful, we're not going to cope, loads of people are going to die, this is just a tragedy, and just comments like that are generally quite negative based. Whereas if you've got a growth mindset, you're looking more at, actually, okay, we're in this situation, but how can we improve it, or how can we rise above that? Let's look at the good points. So what I've been trying to focus on is, okay, yes, this is happening, I've got no control over that, but I'm grateful. Actually, I'm going to be able to spend more time with my children. I'm going to be able to have an input more into their education. It's probably going to encourage us as a family to spend more time together indoors. It will encourage me to spend more time maybe contacting friends and family members that I often don't contact because I'm so busy all the time. So that's what we want to be thinking about when you're going from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, just always looking at the positive side. And this can be used really in any situation, and actually it's something that's being taught in schools more and more now. My son's school has been teaching them all about growth mindset for the last couple of years. So teaching the children to look at, okay, rather than saying, oh, I'm so bad at maths, thinking, oh, what can I do better next time, or what did I do well? And really focusing on that kind of progress and achievement, and what you can learn from everything. Because at the end of the day, we all fail at things in life, but it's the way you look at it. Some people will fail at something and just instantly down tools, because it's kind of almost a natural reaction to run from something. It's that fear. Whereas if you're looking at it with a growth mindset, you're looking at it, so, well, okay, I didn't quite get it this time. What can I do next time to make it better? And when you look at very successful people, sports people, famous actors, actresses, business people, they have all failed many, many times. They just kept going and learned each time. So I think that we can all take something from that. Another thing that I am practicing a lot at the moment, and something I've done over the last couple of years, but probably not regularly, is practicing gratitude. Now, when this idea was first introduced to me, probably as a doctor in quite a scientific mind, I thought, well, that's a bit woolly, a bit weird. That's for all those airy-fairy kind of people, a bit woo-woo. But actually practicing gratitude every day focuses your mind on all the good stuff around you. And what I've been doing, over the last couple of years is on a lot of mornings, just focusing on writing down 5 things every day that I am grateful for, little bullet points. At the moment, I'm now making effort to get up in the morning early before everybody else and doing that, because it puts you in that positive mindset for the rest of the day. And at the moment, it's things like, actually, I'm grateful that I am healthy. I'm grateful that my children are all fit and healthy. I'm grateful that I've got a roof over my head and a warm bed. I'm grateful that I've got a steady stream of income. Whatever it is that you're grateful for, just focusing on those little things and popping them down, it just puts you in that good mood for the rest of the day. You can also do it before bed at night. You can write down a few, say 3 things that have been good about that day, 3 things that you've achieved. It might be stupid little things like, I managed to do some washing today. Little things that have been on your to-do list for a while, but just focus on 3 things that you did, rather than going to bed thinking about all the things that you didn't do. Because then actually when you sleep, you go to sleep on a much more positive note. You're much more restful through the night, rather than just fretting. The other thing that is very, very powerful and very, very weird at first is affirmations. I don't know if anyone else has heard of affirmations before or does them. When I first started doing these, I thought it was strange, very, very strange. But what affirmations are is talking to yourself in a nice way, basically, because we all talk to ourselves pretty horrifically, certainly. The things we say to ourselves, we would never say to anybody else. We constantly putting it down on ourselves, like, oh, you're crap at this, you're crap at that, you look ugly, your bum looks fat in this, I look, you're a rubbish mum, whatever we say to ourselves. So it's just flipping that on the head, really. And an affirmation starts with I am. So one thing I would encourage you to do, if you've never done this before, is get a piece of paper, divide it in 2, and on one side, on the left hand side, write down all these things you say to yourself in your head. Sometimes that can be quite a hard task, actually, when you see it in black and white. You think, God, I actually say that to myself. On the other side of the page, the right hand side, just switch it over. So if you've written I'm a failure at everything, you can write I'm a successful, powerful woman. If you've written, you know, I'm fat and ugly, it's like I am beautiful, healthy, and loving. You know, whatever. So it's just flipping it to the converse, and then just getting used to saying that to yourself every single day. And it is weird, but once you practice it, you get into the habit of doing it. You can look at yourself in the mirror and do it. You can record them on your phone. That's quite good, so that you can keep playing them. And it takes quite a while to get used to it, break that habit. But if you can stick with it for at least 20, do it every single day for about 21 days, you will start to notice a difference. It will start to become easier, and you'll start to actually feel better about yourself and start having that self-belief. So that's something I would really, really encourage you to do. And meditation as well. That's the last thing I'm going to talk about. We're not going to go deeply into meditation, but I find that is a really useful tool. When you're feeling very stressed and overwhelmed, if you have that ability to be able to just switch off your brain and recharge yourself, just kind of reset everything, it's just such a good tool to have in your box. I first started doing this probably about 18 months ago. I started using an app called Headspace. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. Some people do. It's a free app. There is a paid version. I just did the free one. There's also Calm. I haven't used Calm, but it's similar. And basically what it does is it teaches you to meditate, and you start off with 3 or 5 minutes and build up to 10 minutes. And it's quite, if you do it with an open mind, it's actually quite easy to get into it. It's very simplified. Once you've got the hang of that, then rather than paying for it, I would just hop across to YouTube and look for guided meditations. So I will do a 10-minute guided meditations most days. And you can look at ones for stress, anxiety, self-esteem, whatever it is that you kind of want to release. So yeah, give it a go. Like I said before, I thought all this stuff was a bit woo-woo. I thought meditation was for people that probably walked around barefoot dancing in fields with flowers in their hair, and that you had to sit for hours on end umming and ahhing on the floor. No, you can literally just do 5 or 10 minutes, and it really, really does help. So they're my kind of top tips for improving your mindset over this time. And again, and just coming onto things like this, there's loads of things going on right now, lots of people opening up groups on Facebook and webinars and things like this, so that we can all come together while we're at home. So if you see things like that, then I would encourage you to just keep hopping on, because being surrounded by other positive, uplifting people just is really what we need right now. I'm going to pass you over to Michelle again now, who's going to do some exercises.
Yeah, so just before I go into exercises, something else that I've tried to do is create my space. So in your home, find, if you can, just your zen den, if you like. And I'm still working on mine. I've completely turned my dining room upside down in order to create my bit of space for this, because to be honest, I'm not going to be hosting any dinner parties anytime soon. So I thought, sod it, this is going to become my space. And up in my bedroom as well, I'm trying to create a really calming atmosphere and a little bit of a zen den, if you like, and so that I can just have that time and that space just to be with myself. And it's one of those things that I never do, because I'm always running around so quickly from A to B like Superwoman. And if I'm brutally honest, I haven't stopped yet, but I'm so mindful that actually I need to. So yeah, another little hint and tip: if you can, create your space, guys. So let's get up and moving. So I'm going to talk you through 4 basic exercises. Do it where you are if you want to. You can stand up, you can join in, you can look at them again later. But what I will say is that it doesn't matter what your ability is, work to your own ability. Okay, I am clearly not there assessing you. I don't know what your history is. I don't know what your injuries are. So work within your own limitations. But whatever you can do, move, do it. The key to this is movement, and the key is that we've got to get our bodies moving, energizing. It releases endorphins, happy hormones, it keeps us fit and healthy, which ultimately is going to help your immune system over this difficult time. So I'm not going to play music because I think it will disrupt the sound, but you guys are muted, or if you're watching this on playback, put your favorite tunes on whilst we do it. It's not going to be very long. I say that now, I don't know because I haven't done it yet, but the idea is that this is not a full workout session. This is just a few little ideas just to say that anybody can do it anytime, anywhere. Okay, but there are loads of people out there online putting their exercises classes online now, so jump on. Joe Wicks did one with Ellie Goulding, a little hit session, which was quite fun live on Instagram. So there's loads of different things like that going on. Loads of support your local community, find a local Pilates instructor or yoga teacher that you normally go to and love, and see if they're doing anything online. Right, let's get started. So first of all, have a stand up. I'm gonna just move the screen slightly. Okay. So to start with, I just want us to move. So just gently roll your shoulders back. If you can't stand for whatever reason, try and sit up nicely so that you're not slumped on the sofa or uncomfortable, okay? Just try and get yourself engaged a little bit. We're just going to start off rolling our shoulders and then gently rolling your neck as you can, comfortably left to right. Okay, do semicircles downwards to start with, and then you can gently look over one shoulder as far as you can comfortably go, and the other shoulder. Okay, look up if you can, and if you feel dizzy or sick at any point, slow it down, stop, work within your ability. Okay, take a nice deep breath in and raise your arms above your head. Stretch up if you can, but interlock your fingers, and can't see my hands enough. I'm going to stand here. And stretch right up, stretch right up. Okay, now side flex one direction and then in the other direction. Oh, imagine that you're in between two panes of glass when you do it. So it really kind of goes sideways rather than coming forwards. One of the things that happens is we start to creep forwards. I want you to get a side flexion movement going on. Okay, take your hands, interlock them if you can, and bring your palms to face out. And stretch through the back of your rib cage. So just let your scapula come around your shoulder blade as you come back through. Okay, then take your hands behind your back. And oh, I got a big click there. Just feel a little bit of release as you come down. Okay, so that's just getting us moving. Now shift your weight from left to right, Okay. Pop your hands onto your hips, and you know me, I absolutely love the pelvis and what we can do, but what tends to happen with people is they can get really stiff in their lower back and they kind of move as a bit of a block, okay? We have different vertebrae in our spine. Keep moving as I'm talking. We've got different vertebrae in our spine, lots and lots of joints, and the idea is that a joint should move a little bit, okay? So these joints need to move. And the more we can move them, the healthier we can be. So loosen off left to right to start with, and then do a little hula hoop. Okay, and this is the time to have fun at home with your family. So if you've got a hula hoop at home, why not get it out? See how interesting how much disconnect we've got with our body, whether we can actually do it or not. Okay, and then go in the opposite direction. Lovely, really good, guys. Okay, let's go with figure of 8. So see if you can get a nice figure of 8 going with your hips. And do you feel tight in one direction? So my hip here feels a bit tight, so I'm just going to work a little bit more in that kind of direction just to open and stretch off that hip. But just listen to your body, see what you feel. Okay, with all of these exercises, I want to sort of do it to a point of movement, and if you feel any discomforts, work it and just try and loosen it off if you can. But when you stop, you shouldn't feel ongoing pain, okay? So nothing that you do should create pain. It should be a case of moving, maybe finding those stiff points, but then easing back out of it. Okay, so now we've done some gentle stretches, we've done some mobility and some pelvic tilting and wiggling, and this is the time to put the music on. Okay, now we're going to go through a little bit of strength. So wherever you can, if you want to have a chair behind you, that's absolutely fine, but we're going to do a basic squat. And some people might go, I don't squat. Well, if you sit down, you squat. Okay, it may not be a very controlled squat, you might be falling into the chair, but in theory, if you're sitting down, every time you're sitting down, you are doing a squat, and the idea is we want to make that squat as strong and as controlled as we can. Okay, so sit down into an invisible chair or a chair behind you if you want to, and when you're going down, see if you can make sure that your weight is evenly shifted on both feet. Okay. And this is so good, exciting to get the heart rate up. Okay, everybody's going to have different abilities. So if you're used to going to the gym and this is easy for you, put some weights in your hands, do something different, okay? Make it a little bit harder, but sit down into a squat or an imaginary chair, or indeed a chair behind you. Up and down. Okay, keep going. So we have gone through some basic stretching. We have done some pelvic tilting and some hip wiggling. We've done some squats and some strengthening. The last element that we're going to touch on today is balance. Okay, so what is our balance like? Now, it depends how much wine you've been drinking, okay, but let's see what our balance is like. So again, make sure you're safe, have things to hold on to if you want to. You're going to shift your weight over onto your left leg. I can see some people's cameras going all over the place before we start. So shift your weight onto the left leg, squeeze your bottom, tuck your tailbone underneath you, and see if you can start off by just lifting your heels up. I know that you can't see my feet. There we go. Start off by just lifting your heels up on one side. Now, if that feels wobbly, then stay there, but keep going as much as you can. But squeeze your bottom, tailbone under, draw your belly button in towards your spine, then see if we can lift our leg into a single leg position. Now, just note how much you're wobbling, and see if you are wobbling, have you let go of your bottom? Is your hip done this? Okay, if your hip's gone out and you touch your bottom and it's all squidgy, it's being a bit lazy, it's not really engaging. So make sure you squeeze your bottom, you lift up and you engage there. Now from that position, if you feel strong, you're going to practice a little single leg dip and up. Good, really, really nice. And again, work to whichever level you feel comfortable with. Let's try going on to the other leg. So transfer your weight, tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your bottom for now. Draw your core in. When you've got your balance, if you're ready, you're going to do a single leg dip down. Now the other thing to note when you're doing a single leg dip is what your knee's doing. Is your knee coming in, and is your foot and your arch of your foot collapsing, or are you able to keep the arch of the foot lifted and your knee sort of going straight down? This is my weaker leg, that's why I always demonstrate on the other one first. So when you're here, is your knee sort of coming nicely in alignment, i.e. you've got control around your hips and your ankle, or are you dropping it in? Okay, so just listen to your own body and see what you're doing. Okay, and there are so many variations of these things, but I want you to take home message from today in terms of the 4 exercises. Movement, stretching, loosening off. If you Google things like animal movements, you notice when your cat comes out of bed or your dog gets out of bed, they kind of do this, all this stretching routine. And it's so normal, and it's what we should be doing, because we need to wake our bodies up. If we become too sedentary in our homes and on our sofas, then our bodies need to move. They need to move. You need to get the blood flow going. So wake them up and get some movement going through them. The second thing was pelvis, pelvic tilting, loosening off your lower back. Don't let it get too stiff. The third, and maybe getting a hula hoop just for fun. The third one was doing the squats. Okay, so get some strength, because every single one of us, if we are sitting and standing, should be doing some squats. Okay, if you are able to sit and stand, that's a fantastic exercise. And the third thing was balance. I'm going to take it back to Ericka to now talk to you about gut, but make sure you drink lots of water, yeah, find yourself an online class. Well done, Joe. Drinking your water.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That last one was quite tough. My knees and ankle all over the place. So I'm going to talk to you now just a little bit about fueling yourself in the right way. Now, this is something that I've, again, really taken time to learn about in the last 18 months or so, really. I think as a doctor, most people assume we know lots about healthy eating. We don't. Unfortunately, don't get taught really much about good nutrition at medical school. I hope that's changing now, because it was a long time ago since I was there. But really, what I want to talk about is our gut, because our gut is the centre, really, of the whole thing. And the gut is something that's probably really only kind of been more understood in the last 5 to 10 years, which is probably why I wasn't taught it at med school. And our gut basically contains about 100 trillion bacteria and bugs. Yeah, 100 trillion, which is 10 times more cells than we've got in our whole body. So we're actually more bug than human, which is a bit scary. Now, the bugs are there for a reason, and we need the bacteria in our gut for it to function properly. 70% of our immune system is based in and around our gut. And if our gut isn't working properly, our immune system suffers, which is why I thought it's such an important thing to talk about right now, because we all really want to make our immune systems as good as possible. And actually, if you think about it, that anything that we ingest could potentially be harmful for our body. So it's quite good that a lot of the immune system is based there, because it's ready to attack if we are ingesting really harmful things. Now, the bacteria that live in our gut feed on dietary fibre. So they love things like grains, oatmeal, leafy vegetables, things like quinoa, nuts, beans, all things like that. And when they munch up this fibre, they release a chemical which also helps the immune system function better. So if the bacteria aren't being fed properly, then our immune system suffers. It starts to panic because it's not getting everything it needs, and overreacts. Also, the bacteria aren't getting fueled properly. They start to eat other things. One of the things they start to eat is the mucus lining of our gut, and get closer to the immune system on the outer layer of our gut wall. The immune system then panics more, and overreacts and causes inflammation. So there's a direct link between really kind of what we're ingesting and inflammation. And we know that a lot of diseases, like heart disease, stroke, cancers, are all actually linked to inflammation. And they've done lots of studies over the years. They've looked at hunter-gatherer population, so people that live like we did hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and they've looked at their gut microbiome, compared it to ours in a Western industrialized society, and found that they have actually 50% more bacteria in their gut than we do. And the reason our bacteria kind of decline in our gut over the years is because we aren't fueling it properly. So we're eating a lot of processed foods, lots of artificial sweeteners. Stress can have an effect on the bacteria. Antibiotics, so lots of previous overprescribing of antibiotics depletes your bacteria. So yeah, there's this link. The other things that are closely linked to your gut is serotonin. Now, serotonin is also known as our healthy, happy hormone. Up to 90% of our serotonin is actually produced within the gut. So if your gut is not working properly, again, you've got less serotonin being made, which then causes things like depression, stress, and anxiety, which again are things that are going to be apparent now. We've already said that we're feeling a bit stressed. So I think it's important now more than ever to really focus on optimizing our gut. The other thing is you can feel hungrier because your gut bugs influence what you want to eat. and they influence your body's hormones. So they influence the production of inulin and lectin, which are like appetite suppressants. So if your gut bugs aren't, again, working properly, you can become hungry and start reaching for things like donuts and cakes and biscuits instead of going for like a healthy salad. So I just think it's just a bit, basically the bacteria can completely influence our thoughts and our immune system. But the good thing is we can kind of take back control of that, and supplement our diet and feed it in the right way so that we can boost these bacteria back up again. So how can we do that? The main thing is dietary fiber. The recommended amount of fiber that we should have is 30 grams in our diet a day. Most of us probably have about 15 to 18 grams of fiber a day. If you look back to what our ancestors ate, say like 100 years ago, they were probably eating nearer 50 to 100 grams of fiber a day. So even the recommended 30 grams a day, really, I don't feel is really enough. You want to be aiming kind of somewhere 30 to 50. And so what can you have in your diet? Cruciferous veg. So things like broccoli, cauliflower, leeks, cabbage, they're full of great fiber. Minimize simple carbs. So all the beige and white stuff like white bread, white pasta, sweets and things, they've got very, very little fiber in them. And they also cause your insulin levels in your body to spike, which in turn can lead to weight gain. But also if you're somebody that reaches for a lot of these kind of foods, bread, pasta, yeah, sweets, what happens is you get lots of insulin spikes. And over time, your body then becomes resistant to insulin, which can then lead to diabetes later on. So that's something to be really wary of. So really focusing on the fiber that you're feeding yourself. So cruciferous veg, beans, pulses, oatmeal, quinoa, things like that. And the other thing, I mean, at the moment, we're struggling a lot with getting fresh foods, right? We go to the supermarket and the shelves are empty. I use supplements in my diet. Now that's something that I didn't used to use a few years ago, but now I understand fully how our gut works, and actually how that the food we're getting now, even if we can get fresh fruit and veg, has not actually got the same amount of nutrient content that it did 20, 30 years ago because of over farming, genetically modified things, cold storage. So over the last few years, I have been using supplements, and I take every single day a green supplement and a digestive supplement. And the green supplement that I use contains 37 different fruits and veg, and it contains inulin as well, which is a fiber specifically that your gut bacteria love munching on. And a digestive supplement I use is basically it's a sachet. It contains pre and probiotics. So prebiotics are things that your gut bacteria like to eat. It contains some probiotics, so bacteria, and it contains digestive enzymes. And the digestive enzymes help break down your food before they get into the larger intestine where all the bacteria live, and help your body function better. The ones I use are from Arbonne, which is our health and wellness brand that we're both partnered with. Reason I'm partnered with that is because the products are so flipping good, and contain no nastiness. But you know, there obviously are other things out there as well. So yeah, the main take home things really is really just look after your gut, and that will help your immune system, and it will help with your mood. If you're interested more about learning about gut health, Dr. Chatterjee, I've got a book of his here, I did put it in. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's a GP and like lifestyle medicine guru. He's written 5 books. His first book, actually, this is his brand new one. I haven't actually read yet. I bought it and I'm going to read it over the next few weeks. But his first book goes a lot into gut bacteria. He's also got a podcast, which is really good. And there's a chap that I find really good called Dr. Jason Fung. He's written a book called The Obesity Code, and he also has YouTube videos. So yeah, if what I've said kind of interests you and you want to look at it a bit more, those guys are full of really good information. I'm going to pass you over to Michelle now, who's going to go through some breathing techniques with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, certainly something that I've really been on, like a self-discovery, is about my own gut health as well. And we're all human, and I think that in a crisis sometimes we get into the stress cycle, and then we start to grab the comfort. And I noticed that I sat for 2 nights this week and just ate chocolate, and I've been so good for a while, and reduced the amount of dairy that I'm eating, because I know for me that's what irritates me. And the stress combined with my diet over literally the last few days, I can feel the difference. And so this is my motivation and in my accountability, because I'm telling you about it, because there's something needs to change again, because I need to take control of what I can control. And what we can control, all of us now, is we can control what we are feeding our bodies with, and our mindset, and everything else. So with that note, breathing, okay? All of us, obviously a little bit anxious, no doubt, with what's going on, and the fact that it can affect our respiratory system. And if you ever come to one of my Pilates classes or come to any of my clinics, you will know that I often talk about the breath and how important the breath is in our diaphragm, in our abdominal, and in a way when I work with people that have got pain or pelvic issues, or diastasis recti, which is the tummy gap that you can get from your after pregnancy, or if you have a distended abdomen for whatever reason. I talk a lot about the breath, and I've been practicing this myself as well with yoga practice as well, and working on the breath. So the reason this is all important, so if everybody can now sit up so that you are in a position where your lungs are optimized, okay? So just think about that when you are at home as well, because, you know, when we're working from home, or we are just sort of sitting on the sofa and things like that, we tend to compromise our respiratory system just by the way that we're moving, okay, rather than being up and out. So if you're sitting up nicely, I want you all to take a nice deep breath in for me. Put your hands on your tummy and just take a nice deep breath in. Okay, and just feel what happens. Okay, when you take a deep breath in, what happens? Because what sometimes happens is that, I'm going to just stand up again so I can demonstrate, is that when we take a deep breath in, we go like this. We go, oh yeah, I've got to take a deep breath, and you suck your tummy in and you go and you think that's a deep breath. Oh yeah, I'm taking a deep breath. But anatomically, what that's doing is actually our diaphragm is coming up, and because we're sucking our tummy in, and our diaphragm's coming up, and that's squashing the diaphragm up, because our abdominal content has to come somewhere, so it squashes that diaphragm up, which ultimately is reducing the lung volume there. Okay, it might be increasing it very slightly because you lift your shoulders up, but really that should be what we call apical breathing, which is the last little part of the breath, when you are at absolute maximum and you've sprinting. So you know when you see a sprinter and they're like this, and their stomach should be coming out and in, and then they get that last little bit of like lung volume by lifting up here. And when you see people in respiratory distress, that is sometimes what's happening. Okay, so how we can help ourselves is to learn how to breathe and maximize our lung capacity by breathing deep into your ribs, okay, and deep down into your diaphragm. So take your hands now, pop them right low into your rib cage, so quite low. Okay, take a deep breath in and see if you can fill that rib cage up. So as you breathe in, your ribs should gently come out and back in again. Okay, so you take a deep breath in and out. Okay, use some relaxation, some meditation like the Headspace app, And when you are focusing on your breathing, see if you can count the breaths in as well. So count in for 3, out for 3. And then slow it down and see if you can calm your breathing system down as well, so that then you can do it for 4, count of 4, in and out. And then 5. See if you can calm your breath down. The wonderful thing about the fact that this is live and the fact that I am here on my own is that this is happening right now and my respiratory rate is going up. So, practice your breath work. Try to relax your belly breathing as much as you can. And I'm going to just hand back over to Ericka to talk a little bit about finding ways to serve and serve yourself before I just settle this little one down, and then I'll come back. So please hand over. Sorry.
That's right, she's left me in the end. Michelle had a really nice ending there, and she's just run off and left me at it. So I'm just going to find my phone because I've got something on there that she was going to share. Basically, the point of this evening was really that we wanted to kind of give back and you know, offer you guys something, because you know, we've learned some stuff over the last few years, and we just wanted to impart some knowledge with you, and hope that it helps. And there was a quote that she was going to read, so I'm going to find it now because I've got it here. It is one of the beautiful compensations of this life that no man can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. And I just think that's kind of a really nice way to think about what we can be all doing at the moment as well, because each and every one of us can be doing something to help someone, no matter how little that might be. It might be just taking the time to ring somebody that you know might be really struggling right now. It could be supporting small businesses in some way, you know, maybe thinking about lots of people that are that offer services and trading services with people. So, you know, if you offer floristry skills or something, and somebody else can offer window cleaning, it's kind of exchanging services just to keep people within business and getting all the things that they need as well. So I think there is so many things that we can do. I know Michelle herself, here she comes back. So I know she's going to be offering, she's not really, actually you can hand over now. I've just talked about how we just want to serve others and what everyone can be doing, but I know that you're going to be looking at ways that you can help other people, maybe with some more online kind of exercises, aren't you?
Yeah, so basically I'm just thinking, you know, what we can all do things to give back, and at this time more than ever we need to rally together and work out what it is that we can do. So something that I can do is you know, help with, hopefully by giving some advice like this. Hopefully I won't get interrupted too much, but it is real life. So but giving education advice, doing some Pilates classes. I love teaching my Pilates classes, but I've been so busy running around juggling so much at the moment that I've stopped teaching them. But perhaps I was thinking about doing, and if you guys are up for it, maybe doing just another Zoom call like this, a little bit fun, and just doing a live Pilates class for everybody to join in with. So if that's something that you're interested in, I will definitely pop something on social media and pop a date on that we can all get together and have a bit of a laugh online and do some Pilates. In terms of my clients, obviously I treat a range of clients. I do work part-time with the military, and don't know what's going to happen with that, but I also run my own private business in Petersfield, near the Petersfield area. It's actually in Headley, Borden, and I'm finding that, you know, like I've got some really vulnerable clients that can't necessarily get in. I've got clients that have got needing to self-isolate, and I want to be able to still serve and help you guys. So what I'm proposing is doing some online consultations to help give exercise advice. I can still do some exercise advice, do assessment advice. I want to listen to what your injuries are and any concerns. And basically, even if you can't physically get here, I can show you ways to assess and virtually. We are limited, of course, but there are options, and the CSP, which is our governing body as physios, is giving us some guidance on that. So watch this space. We should be doing some online consultations soon to help with physio. I'm going to do a bit of a Pilates class and think, what can we all do? And the other thing I'm thinking, okay, so I'm thinking outside the box now, because money is short and everyone is really, really worried, which is understandably. So we need to support each other to keep going. So I was thinking today, like back in the day when we were at war before and things, we sort of trade swapped, didn't we? So what could we do to help? What could I do to help you? Could you do to help me? Could we, what can I do to help your mum? What can I do to help this? And maybe doing some of that. So, I don't want people's worries and concerned about money to be a limiting factor either. I really want us to help each other as much as we can. So, that was kind of my parting message. Did you read the little?
I read the quote, yeah.
You did, perfect.
I managed to find it. Oh, where's my phone?
That was it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much everybody for coming on, and for everyone who is watching the replay. If there's, well, hopefully it was all useful, and if there's anything that any of you want to, if you've got questions about them, feel free to reach out to either of us, or if somebody else sent you the recording, reach back out to them, and yeah, we can help serve you. And if you want to do more of these, then we'll be happy to host some more and cover some different topics. But thanks guys, have a good rest of the weekend and enjoy kind of bonding with your family. Bye bye.
Thanks everyone, thank you very much for joining.